I swear I thought it was a scam. It was a random Tuesday morning in Phoenix, and my alarm had already gone off 3 times. I was working night shifts at a gas station back then, so mornings weren't really my thing. I rolled over, grabbed my phone, and opened my banking app out of pure habit. And that's when my brain just stopped. My balance said $3,214,587.42. I blinked. Then I refreshed the app. Still there. Yeah, right, I muttered. Nice glitch. My actual balance the night before was $43.78. Not exactly millionaire territory. For a second, I thought maybe someone hacked my account, or maybe the bank app bugged out. Apps do weird stuff sometimes, right? But curiosity hit me hard, so I logged into the desktop version of my bank. Same number, $3 million. My heart started pounding like I just chugged 5 energy drinks. No way, no freaking way. I checked the transaction history. There it was. Incoming wire transfer, $3,214,543.64. Sender? Unknown financial institution. No notes, no explanation, nothing. Just money. A lot of money. My first instinct? Call the bank, like a normal, responsible human being. But then another voice in my head went, hold up, what if this disappears the second you tell them? I stared at the screen for a solid 5 minutes. Then I did what any broke 26-year-old idiot might do. I Googled, what happens if a bank accidentally sends you money? Turns out, legally, it's not yours. Yeah, shocker. Banks can take it back whenever they notice. But here's the weird part. Sometimes it takes days or even weeks for them to realize. And right there, sitting in my tiny apartment with peeling paint and a broken AC, an absolutely insane idea popped into my head. What if I used the money before they noticed? Not spent it, that would be dumb. But what if I invested it? If the bank asked for it later, fine, they'd get their money. But whatever I earned from it, that could be mine. My heart started racing again. This wasn't just risky. This was life-changing crazy. I looked around my apartment, a mattress on the floor, an old laptop from 2014, empty ramen cups everywhere. And suddenly I thought, man, what do I actually have to lose? So I transferred $100,000 into a trading account. My hands were literally shaking because in that moment I knew one thing for sure. If the bank noticed today, I was screwed. But if they didn't, this might be the craziest opportunity of my entire life, and I had absolutely no idea what I was about to get myself into. I didn't sleep that night, not even a little. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined my phone buzzing with a notification from the bank. Fraud detected, account locked, please contact customer support immediately. But nothing came. No emails, no calls, no alerts. The money was still there. $3.2 million, just chilling in my account like it belonged there. By 6 a.m., I was sitting at my tiny kitchen table, staring at my laptop like it was a bomb that might explode any second. Okay, think, I told myself. I wasn't a finance guy. I didn't know stocks. I didn't know hedge funds. The only thing I really knew about money was how to not have it. But I had spent way too many nights watching random finance YouTube videos during slow shifts at the gas station. Crypto. Everyone kept talking about crypto. High risk, high reward. Exactly the kind of thing a completely sleep-deprived idiot with accidental millions might try. I logged into a crypto exchange and stared at the screen. Bitcoin, Ethereum, some coins I'd never even heard of. Numbers moving everywhere like a damn slot machine. My palms were sweating. All right, screw it. I transferred $100,000 into Bitcoin. Click, just like that. 100 grand. Gone. Well, technically not gone, but it definitely didn't feel real. I leaned back in my chair and let out a shaky laugh. Dude, you just invested more money in 10 seconds than you've made in your entire life. The price moved. Down. Of course it did. I watched $100,000 become $99,200 in about 30 seconds. Awesome. Great start. I rubbed my face. This was insane. But something weird happened next. The price started climbing, slowly at first, then faster. $100,500, $101,200, $103,000. My eyes got wider with every refresh. Wait, hold up. 10 minutes later, my investment was worth $107,000. $7,000 in 10 minutes. I literally stood up from my chair. Bro, what? That was more money than I made in 3 months working night shifts, and it just appeared on the screen like magic. My brain started racing. If 100K could turn into 107K in 10 minutes, what would happen if I invested more? That was the dangerous thought, the kind that ruins people. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. I opened my banking app again. Still there. $3,114,587 remaining. My heart was pounding again. I knew I should stop, take the small win, play it safe. But then I looked at the clock. It had already been 12 hours since the money appeared, and the bank still hadn't said a word. Which meant one thing. They probably didn't even know yet. And if they didn't know, then technically I had time. So I did something incredibly stupid. I transferred another $500,000 into crypto. The moment I clicked confirm, my stomach dropped. Okay, yeah, that might have been a terrible idea. But the real problem wasn't the risk. The real problem was what happened 20 minutes later, because that's when my phone lit up with a call from an unknown number, and the caller ID said something that made my blood run cold. Wells Fargo Fraud Department. My phone kept vibrating on the table. Wells Fargo Fraud Department. I just stared at it. My heart was beating so loud it felt like someone was knocking from inside my chest. Okay, stay cool, I whispered to myself. The phone kept ringing. If I didn't answer, that would look suspicious, right? But if I did answer, maybe they'd ask about the money. And then what? Hey guys, funny story. I accidentally invested $500,000 that isn't mine. Yeah, great plan. The phone stopped ringing. Silence for about 5 seconds. Then it rang again. Same number. I rubbed my face. All right, screw it. I answered. Hello? A calm woman's voice came through the speaker. Hi, this is Amanda from Wells Fargo Fraud Prevention. Am I speaking with Daniel Carter? My throat felt dry. Yeah, that's me. Perfect. This will only take a moment. We just noticed some unusual activity on your account this morning. My stomach dropped. This is it. She continued. We see a transfer of $100,000 followed by another transfer of $500,000 to a cryptocurrency exchange. I tried to sound normal. Yeah, that was me. Pause. Just a short one, but it felt like an hour. Okay, great, she said. We just wanted to confirm that those transactions were authorized. Wait, that's it? That's all? She chuckled lightly. Yes, sir. When large transfers happen, we just double-check to make sure the account holder initiated them. My brain was scrambling. Did they seriously not mention the $3 million? Not even once? Everything good on your end? She asked. Yeah, all good. Perfect. I'll mark the transactions as verified. There was a quick keyboard sound on her end. Thanks for your time, Mr. Carter. Have a great day. Click. The call ended. I slowly lowered the phone. Then I looked at my bank account again. $2,614,587.42. Still there. They hadn't noticed. Not the wire transfer, not the millions, nothing. They only cared about the crypto transfers.
I leaned back in my chair and started laughing. Not normal laughing, more like the kind you do when your brain can't process reality anymore. Dude, this is insane! But then my trading app refreshed and the laughter stopped. Bitcoin had jumped again. My $600,000 investment was now worth $682,000. I blinked, then refreshed the page again. $691,000. What the hell? $90,000 in less than an hour. My hands started shaking again. This wasn't just working. It was working way too well. And that's when the dangerous thought came back. If 600K could become 690K this fast, what would happen if I invested $1 million? I knew I shouldn't. Every logical part of my brain was screaming at me to stop. But the other part, the greedy broke kid part, was already opening the transfer window. And right before I clicked confirm, my trading screen suddenly turned red. Not a little red, deep, terrifying red. Bitcoin started dropping, fast. 691K to 670K, 670K to 645K, 645K to 610K. My stomach twisted. Oh no, 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 no. The price kept falling, and within 2 minutes, half of my profit was already gone, and the crash was just getting started.
The numbers wouldn't stop dropping. $610,000, $585,000, $560,000. Come on, stop! I muttered at the screen. But the market didn't care what I wanted. Bitcoin was falling like someone had kicked the ladder out from under it. My trading app kept flashing red, notifications popping up everywhere, market volatility warning, high sell volume detected. I had no idea what half of it meant, but I knew one thing. This was bad. Really bad. My $600,000 investment was now sitting at $520,000. Just like that, $80,000 gone. My stomach felt like it dropped through the floor. Okay, don't panic. That's what every YouTube finance guy always says, right? Don't panic, sell. But none of those guys were investing accidental bank millions while waiting for a fraud department to notice. This was different. Very different. The price dropped again, 520K to 498K. I literally stood up from my chair. Are you kidding me? 2 minutes later, 470K. I grabbed my head with both hands. $500,000. Gone. Just evaporating on the screen. My brain was screaming at me to hit the sell button. Just get out. Take the loss. But then another thought hit me. If I sold now, the loss would be real. And when the bank eventually asked for their money back, I'd be responsible for whatever was missing. That meant if I sold at 470K, I'd owe $130,000 that I didn't have. I sat back down slowly. Okay, so selling is not an option. Great. Fantastic. Wonderful plan. My phone buzzed again. For a second, I thought it was the bank calling back. My heart almost exploded. But it wasn't. It was my friend, Marcus. Marcus was the only guy I knew who actually understood trading. He worked some remote job and spent half his day watching markets like it was a sport. I answered immediately. Bro, tell me you're seeing this crash, before I could even speak. Oh, I'm seeing it. You in crypto right now? Maybe. How much? I hesitated. Then I said the dumbest thing I've ever said in my life. About $600,000. Silence. Long silence. Then Marcus laughed. Yeah, right. I'm serious. Another pause. Dude, what? I took a breath. I can't explain everything right now. Just tell me what's happening. He sighed. All right. Looks like a whale just dumped a massive position. Market's reacting. English, please. Big rich guy sold a ton of Bitcoin, and everyone else is panicking. That explained the crash, but it didn't fix my problem. So what do? I asked. Marcus didn't answer right away. Then he said something that made my brain freeze. Honestly? Yeah. If you can survive the drop,
This might be the best buying opportunity of the year. I blinked. Buying opportunity? I'm already dying over here. He laughed again. Bro, crashes like this, smart money buys them. I looked at my screen. Bitcoin had just dropped to $445,000 for my position. My chest felt tight. Yeah, well, smart money probably isn't accidentally trading millions that aren't theirs. Marcus paused. Wait. I immediately regretted saying that. Hold up, he said slowly. What do you mean, aren't yours? I stared at the screen. Because the truth was, I hadn't told anyone about the money yet, and the moment I explained it, everything could spiral out of control. But the market kept dropping, and I desperately needed advice. So I took a deep breath and said, Okay, Marcus, I'm about to tell you something crazy. And what he said next made this situation 10 times more dangerous.
Marcus didn't speak for a few seconds after I finished explaining everything. The bank glitch, the $3 million, the crypto trades, the crash. Total silence on the other end of the phone. Then he finally said, Bro, another pause. Tell me you're messing with me. I wish I was. You're telling me a bank accidentally wired you $3 million and you decided the best move was to start day trading crypto? When he said it like that, it sounded incredibly stupid. Look, I didn't plan this, I said. It just happened. Marcus sighed. Man, you might be the luckiest idiot I know. I'll take that as a compliment. But then his voice got serious. Okay, listen carefully. First question, has the bank contacted you about the wire transfer? No? Not even once? Nope. That means one of two things. I leaned forward. Which are? Either they haven't noticed yet, or they're already investigating it and just haven't reached you. My stomach tightened again. Those are both terrible options. Yeah, Marcus said. Welcome to high-stakes finance. I looked at my trading screen again. My investment had dropped to $432,000. I groaned. This crash is killing me. Marcus chuckled. Relax. Crashes scare amateurs. Professionals look for the bounce. The bounce? Yeah, after panic selling comes bargain hunting. I had no idea if he was right, but he sounded confident. Too confident. So what are you saying? I asked. There was a small pause. Then Marcus said something that made my brain short-circuit. I'm saying, if you're already in this deep, you might as well go big. I blinked. Define go big. Buy the dip. With what money? The other $2.5 million sitting in your account. My jaw dropped. You're insane. Am I? Marcus said. Let's do the math. I hated when he did math. That crash wiped out weak hands. If the market rebounds even 10%, you're making hundreds of thousands. I stared at the screen. The numbers were still flashing red, but the drop had slowed. Look, Marcus continued, worst case scenario, the bank notices tomorrow. They take their money back. Exactly. But if the market recovers before that, he paused, you could walk away with life-changing profit. Life-changing. That phrase echoed in my head, because Marcus didn't know how broke I'd been my entire life. My parents lost their house in 2008. I worked 3 jobs in college. I was still living in a crappy apartment with a mattress on the floor. And right now, I was holding a lottery ticket worth millions. My heart started racing again. What would you do? I asked. Marcus didn't hesitate. If it were me? Yeah, I'd put $2 million into Bitcoin right now. I almost dropped the phone. $2 million! Relax, he said. You're buying during panic. That's literally when smart money enters. I looked at my banking app again. $2,614,587. Still sitting there, untouched, waiting. My finger hovered over the transfer button. This was insane, completely insane. But the longer I stared at the numbers, the more the idea started making sense. If the market bounced even a little, I wouldn't just make money, I'd make millions. I swallowed hard. Marcus? Yeah? If this goes wrong, yeah, I'm probably going to jail. Marcus laughed. Relax, man. Worst case scenario, you just return the money. That sounded optimistic, very optimistic. But somehow, my finger still clicked confirm transfer. $2 million gone into the market. For about 5 seconds, nothing happened. Then the price moved. Just a little, but it moved up. And Marcus said something quietly on the phone. Daniel? Yeah?
At first, the price barely moved, just a tiny green line, the kind you almost miss if you blink. My screen showed the numbers ticking upward slowly. $2 million to $2,015,000. Marcus whistled on the phone. There it is. Dude, that's only 15 grand, I said. Relax, he replied. The market doesn't teleport, it climbs. But then it climbed faster. $2,040,000 to $2,085,000 to $2,120,000. I leaned closer to the screen. Wait, hold up. My original 600K position also started recovering. 432K to 460K to 505K. My heart was racing again. Within 10 minutes, my total crypto balance was sitting around $2.6 million. Marcus sounded calm, way too calm. See? Panic sellers are done, buyers stepping in. But the real moment came a few minutes later, because suddenly the market exploded upward. 2.7M to 2.9M to 3.1M. Bro, what? I yelled. Marcus started laughing. That's what happens when whales start buying the dip. My legs literally felt weak. I had to sit down. $3 million. My crypto account alone was now worth more than the original bank transfer, and the chart was still climbing. 3.3M to 3.5M. I refreshed the screen again just to make sure it wasn't a glitch. Nope, still real. Marcus spoke again. Okay, now listen carefully. What? This is where people get greedy and lose everything. That word hit me. Greedy. I'd already taken insane risks. If the market reversed again, I could lose millions in minutes. What do? I asked. Start taking profit. How much? Enough so if the bank calls tomorrow, you're safe. That made sense. Finally, something logical. I opened the sell panel. My finger hovered over the button, right as the market ticked up again. 3.7M. My breathing got heavier, because suddenly I realized something insane. Even if the bank took their original $3.2 million back, I'd still have $500,000 left. $500,000. For someone who had $43 in his account yesterday, it didn't feel real. Sell some, Marcus said. Yeah. I was about to confirm the order when my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. My stomach twisted. Marcus immediately asked, "Who is it?" I looked at the screen and my heart basically stopped, because this time it wasn't the fraud department. The caller ID said Wells Fargo Corporate Office. Marcus went quiet. "That's not good," he said. My hands were suddenly freezing cold, because something told me they finally realized, and this time the call wasn't going to be about verifying a transaction.
My phone kept vibrating. Wells Fargo Corporate Office. Marcus was still on the line. "Daniel," he said quietly, "you should probably answer that." "Yeah, I know." But my finger just hovered over the screen, because in that moment I realized something crazy. 10 hours ago, I was a broke guy eating instant ramen in a crappy apartment. Now I was sitting here with $3.7 million in crypto and the bank calling me. Life can flip real fast. I finally answered. "Hello? A man's voice came through the speaker. Calm, professional. Good afternoon. Am I speaking with Daniel Carter? Yeah, that's me. My name is Richard Hayes. I'm calling from Wells Fargo Corporate Operations regarding a wire transfer that appears to have been mistakenly deposited into your account yesterday morning. There it was. My stomach dropped. They knew. We're currently reviewing the situation, he continued, and will need to reverse the transfer back to the originating financial institution. I leaned back in my chair. Okay. There was a short pause. Then he said something interesting. We just need to confirm that the funds are still available in your account. Technically, yes, but also no. Because right now, most of it was sitting inside crypto. But Marcus had told me something earlier that suddenly felt very important. As long as you can return the original amount, you're fine. The original amount was $3,214,543. My crypto account alone was now worth $3.7 million. So I took a breath and said, "Yeah, the funds are available." "Perfect," Richard replied. "We'll initiate the reversal shortly." Okay. Another pause. Then he added, "Thank you for your cooperation. Situations like this can sometimes become complicated." I almost laughed. "You have no idea." He chuckled lightly. "Well, fortunately, this appears to be a simple accounting error between two institutions." Simple. Right. If only he knew. "Once the transfer is reversed, your account will return to its normal balance." Normal balance. That phrase sounded funny now. "Is there anything else you need from me?" I asked. "No, that should be all. We appreciate your honesty." Honesty. That one almost made me feel guilty. The call ended. Silence filled the room. Marcus immediately spoke. "Well?" "They want the money back." No surprise there. I looked at my trading screen again. The price had climbed even higher, $3.9 million. I exhaled slowly. "Marcus." "Yeah?" "I think this might be the craziest day of my life." He laughed. "Bro, you just turned a bank glitch into almost $1 million. I clicked the sell button. Within seconds, my crypto position started closing. The final balance appeared on my screen. $4,012,447. I stared at the number. Yesterday, I had $43. Today, I had almost $1 million in profit after returning the bank's money. I transferred $3.214 million back into my bank account. That part would disappear soon, but the rest, that was mine. Marcus finally said what we were both thinking. "So, what now?" I looked around my tiny apartment one more time. The peeling paint, the broken AC, the mattress on the floor. And I smiled. "First thing? Yeah? I'm quitting the gas station." Marcus laughed. "Fair." Then I leaned back in my chair and said something I never thought I'd say in my life. After that, yeah, I think I'm going to start investing for real. Because the craziest part of the whole story wasn't the bank glitch. It wasn't the millions. It wasn't even the risk. The craziest part was this. Sometimes one random mistake can completely change your life. And I still had a feeling this was only the beginning.
Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. See you in the next story.